What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar thus far, what's going on with a couple of other tickers out there, and how things likely look as we're going to open today in just a couple of minutes. But before I break into devil's information, before I talk about what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and all these tickers, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. But in $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. All right, guys, so looking at SPY, this thing is trying to break its all-time high, pushing up very nicely. If it could hold above this level, I do anticipate more upside to come, but we have to watch and see how well it holds, especially when we open. But overall, SPY is showing some life. It's still showing some strength, and there's no sign of this thing rejecting quite yet. It still looks like it could go higher. So I'm going to break down more information about this in the next couple of minutes. But let's first talk about some data and news. So I just want to mention that today is going to be a very quiet data day. We have no significant pieces of data coming out. We have nothing going on with major earnings and nothing with Fed speakers. So it's going to be a very quiet data day. It is Friday, February 23rd. And this, once again, gives the market a lot more leeway. But on top of this, I just want to call out that we had a couple of earnings that came out. This is probably one of the most significant ones, at least for today. We had Warner Bros. Discovery. Unfortunately, this thing ended up tanking because it missed on EPS and revenue, did not have the best projections, but it is worth noting that they did increase their free cash flow. So that's something I just wanted to talk about. Warner Bros. Discovery missed analyst targets for both profit and revenue, but they boosted their free cash flow to about a total of $6.16 billion right over here, you guys can see, for the quarter ending in 2023. That's up 86% from a year prior. Now, on top of this, their subscription service did very well, getting a nice amount of profit. But in terms of their overall earnings, their EPS, or the loss per share, maybe not earnings, but loss per share, was 16 cents versus 7 cents expected. So not the best in terms of profitability overall. And revenue is only at $10.28 billion. That's below the $10.35 billion expectations. Their overall projections were not the best. Don't forget that there have been more projections for declines in cable TV and subscriptions. So with that being said, with what they've said right now, they are planning on a joint venture with Disney and Fox, but not the best of earnings. That's why the share price ended up dropping. A couple of other things for the markets. Nvidia keeps pulling the market up. It's still continuing to climb, which is great news for it. And it's still looking very strong. There's also been some more talk right here about a new space race that's rolling on, and Intuitive Machines becomes the first company to land on the moon when its mission touched down on the celestial bodies. That's a very good piece of news for them. And it's the first U.S. spacecraft to go on the lunar surface since 1972. So that's very awesome for them. We're actually seeing some new headlines about this, and it's great to hear that about the space race. On top of this, we have Reddit's IPO. After the process of the social media platform is taken slowly, more than 2 years have passed since they submitted their draft registration to go public, and they filed their IPO prospectus not too long ago. And once again, this is going to be coming out very soon. That's great news for them. We'll see how they do when it comes to earnings and such. But once again, this is a good piece of news for them. On top of this, we have AT&T users are actually talking about how there are actually a lot of outages for AT&T in the afternoon. This had to do with lots of disrupted calls and such, and they're trying to work on fixing that issue. And finally, two other stocks worth noting is that we actually saw shares of Block jump 15%, strong revenue growth, and the Cash App business. And we had Carvana up more than 30% after it had its first profit ever. Anyways, that is it for the main earnings, at least thus far. One more thing I just want to mention is the current SPY options chain. As you can see right here, we have a very interesting options chain. We have just under, we have a little bit under 400,000 of the calls expiring, and we have just over 770,000 puts expiring. So a 2.12 puts to call ratio, and the majority of people still have puts. So what does this mean for the market? What do I see going forward? Let's talk about these numbers. So on SPY, as you can see, we have this very nice uptrend that is being established, and it's attempting to break this high right here. Let's see if we could hold 508.5. If we hold above that, I think it's going to easily push to 510 plus, 510 to 510.5. If we lose this, we're going to be coming back down to 507 to 507.5, followed by 505. My gut is telling me it's going to try to break this high right here, forming a nice bullish wedge, and we could be on our way towards this 510 target. If 510.5 breaks, 512.5 is next, and 513.5. But overall, I'd say SPY is still looking bullish. It's still favoring the bulls, and we're going to likely see more upside as time progresses. Now, Tesla, of all things, is a little bit weak this morning. We're actually coming down as we predicted, and now it's attempting to rebound just slightly. So it's attempting to come back up. I'm wondering if I could redraw this just a little bit. If we want to draw it like this, we could. But it's attempting to rebound a bit. It's still trying to hold above this 195 support, which is a pretty decent sign. But the reason why Tesla came down is because we're getting a lot of bad news. There was like this quote unquote recall that's been announced for a lot of their vehicles in China. So they're going to be announcing a software update to fix it. And a recall is very different for Tesla. I mean, the media likes to call these software issues recalls, but in reality, it's just them doing a little software update over the air just to fix things. And there was also some negative news involving Rivian and things like that. But basically, bad news came out. Tesla came down to about 194, but now it's trying to rebound. As long as we could hold support right around this range, we could continue to slowly uptrend with SPY. So I'm hoping it tries to hold. If we lose 195, we turn bearish for 192. And if we, excuse me, if we continue to hold up, we could be pushing towards 200. It's a very good chance that that's going to happen. For the triple Q, this is looking bullish exactly as we predict. We're going to be watching this high right here at this resistance at 439. If we break this, watch 440. If we break that, 442 is next. For support, watch 438. It's in balance. If we lose that, we have support at 437 flats and then 436. So in my opinion, I'd say that this is looking bullish. We'll see if this could break 440. This is on a very, very nice uptrend. I think that there's a very good chance it could continue to pump. So it's looking pretty good thus far. So it is favoring the bulls. We'll see if this could continue to break 440 and 442. But what's actually helping this is Nvda. Now, Nvda managed to get above the 800 resistance and still looking bullish, but we have to hold above 800. If we hold above this, we could be pushing all the way up to 807. If we break 807, watch for 812 and then 820. If we end up losing 800, watch 790 as critical support. Well, we have some support at 794 and then 790. But make sure you watch those levels just to be safe. Nvidia is still holding up. Let's see how well it holds above 800, and it could push a little bit more as the trend is still bullish looking. Now, on top of this, we also have Aapl stock. And to me, Apple's looking kind of decent right now. So Apple's currently at 184. I do believe it's going to uptrend a little bit more, which could help SPY. I think that Aapl could retest 184.25. We'll have to see how well it holds above this resistance. It is kind of tight. But then if it holds above 184.25, excuse me, we're going to be watching for 185 to come next, where this resistance zone happens to be. If it loses 184.25, watch 183.5. I think that's going to likely come down a little bit and start pushing for 185 to 185.5 and maybe even above that. So look for a little bit more upside on Aapl, and we'll see how well it does. But I do believe Aapl could push a bit more, and this could be bullish for SPY simultaneously. So that being said, guys, thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to end the video from here. One last thing I just want to mention. I know a lot of people are interested in Super Micro before I end this. Super Micro is down for now, but we have to see how well it holds this support. Watch 928 as support, then 900, and then 867 as 3 supports. We'll see if it holds up. It still could hold up nicely and eventually push up towards this imbalance at 1040, and then 1080, and 1100 above that. So watch those resistance levels, and let's just see where it bases before it tries to rebound. So wait for that, guys. Be very, very patient. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. I'll see you guys very soon in a couple of hours, and peace out.